It is a rainy night and we see the Metropolis Children's Hospital. Justin is painting. A doctor comes in to say goodbye. The young man has injured his hands and drew a bad painting. The doctor says he has been there for 5 months healing up. Justin says his hands will never heal up to paint again due to severe nerve damage. The doctor says he tried everything he could, but Justin is angry and brings up the malpractice suits made against him. Justin mentions he was in a hit and run. The doctor says that it is not the end for him. The doctor leaves with a woman in an elevator. She asks him if the boy will sue. He says he doesn't have any proof. Justin suddenly unveils a portrait of the doctor. The elevator starts falling down and is then stuck. The woman tries to get out. Justin then draws with red on the doc's hand. As she grabs his hands, they are cut off by the falling elevator, and Justin smiles. Clark forgot to sign up for the student journalism conference in Metropolis as he was helping out Lana. Chloe is upset that Clark is spending his time mostly with Lana. Pete tells him that she was gonna ask him to the spring formal. Chloe likes him. Justin's back and mentions that he can't draw well anymore, but he wants to go out for coffee with Chloe. When she sees Clark, she accepts it. Lex is visiting his mom's grave. A woman called Pamela, who's also there for the anniversary of her death, approaches him. He says it's been 9 years since her passing and why she's here after suddenly leaving him. He believes that she was in it for the money. She knows he's angry but needs to talk with him. Lex finds no reason to talk to her. As Chloe and Justin are looking at his drawings, Clark enters and asks him if he knows who hit him. Justin only remembers the letters DDI of a number plate. When Chloe says they should look into it, Clark says to call the police, but she says they'll pass it on if they find something. Clark then mentions that Lex fixed 2 tickets to the conference. However, Justin signed up and she's going as his guest. Justin says they could go all together, but Chloe says Clark's not that interested in journalism. Justin drops his belongings. As Clark helps him, he sees an article of a doctor losing his hands in an accident. Clark tells Lana he could be more than friends with Chloe. She has feelings for Clark. Justin draws Chloe but makes a mistake. We then see the pencils drawing Chloe by Justin using telekinesis. Clark shows Pete the article about Justin's doctor, but he heard this and says if he always talks about people behind their backs. He tells Clark he had his chance with Chloe. Pamela's at Lex's mansion. She says he was like a son to her, but he says she was just an employee paid to watch him during his mom's illness. She has no right to come back a decade later. She wants him to know what really happened. Lex tells her that she lied to his mother on her deathbed, but she says that Lionel sent her away and if she ever had contact with Lex, he would disinherit him. When he asks why he would do that, she says because he wanted you to be his son, not hers. She came back to see if Lex found a way to be true to himself in spite of Lionel's efforts, and she also wants Lex's forgiveness. He tells her she'll have to find a way to grant it to herself. She then says goodbye. Whitney's dad is better and he's at home. Lana tells Clark that Whitney has been paying more attention to her now. Chloe tells Justin she has contacted a person at the DMV for the license plates. He then gives her a drawing and says he always had a crush on her. He wants to take his chance and then kisses her. All the objects around him starts floating. When she notes it, he tells her ever since the accident he can move things. But she has seen stranger things. As they continue their romance, Clarky suddenly enters. He needs Chloe. When she's outside with Clark, the fax machine mails a plate match which Justin sees. Clark says she's moving too fast with Justin and mentions the incident with his doctor. She states that he's willing to rescue her in trouble, but other than that, he's emotionally unavailable. He doesn't want her to get involved with Justin because she's mad at him. She says that her world does not revolve around him. We see the DDI number plates. It is Principal Kwan. Justin says he did the hit and run, but Kwan denies it. He's thrown against the garage door and then held by a garden lamp. Justin starts the car and rams the principal through the garage. He's not moving anymore. Clark talks with Lex about his feelings for Chloe. When he asks Lex about his love life, he says that he has only loved 2 women in his life. His mom and the one who betrayed him. Martha enters and tells Clark that Principal Kwan was killed due to an accident. Chloe is crying. Clark sees Kwan's license plate numbers and the DMV actually came through yesterday when she was with Justin. But she doesn't believe Justin's behind it. Lionel says they're selling Cadmus Labs as they only bought it to bankrupt Sir Harry. He then mentions Pamela shouldn't fool him as she wants to hit him up for money to pay her medical bills. When Lex inquires, he's told that she's dying from cancer. Clark visits the crime site. He gives his condolences to Danny, who's Kwan's son. Clark tells him that Justin matched the number plates and then finds out that it was actually Danny who did the hit and run. His dad was trying to protect him. Chloe finds Justin's drawings about the incidents of the doctor and Kwan. As he enters, she puts down the pictures and tells him she has to go to Clark. But Justin notices that the sketchbook is not in the same position as he left it. As Clark's at the Talon, Chloe's on the phone. She tells him she's at the barn and that Justin's involved with the accidents. But her phone flies out of her hands and the door shuts behind her. Justin throws her away and says she betrayed him. He holds her in the air and then drops her. She can't escape. He calls her a fighter and then hits her with a horseshoe in the head. He then activates a chainsaw and just as he's about to kill her, Clark blocks it. He tells him he killed the wrong man. He then throws Clark away, but he immediately appears behind him and throws him away. Chloe is doing alright. Lex visits Pamela at the hospital. He asks her why she didn't tell him. She says it's not his concern. She regrets not daring to tell him how much he meant to her. She wanted to help him to grow up. He wishes she had done it. He says he might have been a better man. She says his mother would be proud. He then grabs her hand. Justin's in the psychiatric ward. Chloe says she has bad judgment. Clark still has the 2 tickets and they set a date. He grabs her hand. Lana's visibly upset about this. When she sees Whitney, she says they have to talk, but he's crying. His dad has passed away. Flowers are put upon Mr. Fordman's coffin. Whitney and his mom cry. As Lana and Whitney stand together, Clark is sad. Lana looks back at Clark as he looks at her in sadness.